This week on TIAA Bank Jaguars Weekend. The Jaguars begin the second half of the season with a new quarterback. Jacksonville hopes Nick Foles will keep the Jags in the playoff picture. But first, they need to beat the Colts. We'll discuss the changes you'll see now that Foles is QB1. And we visit the film room with head coach Doug Marrone to break down the Colts defense. Plus, we visit America's Heroes.
I just want to see what it's like to be in their shoes for the day.
All that and much more ahead on Jaguars Weekend.
This is TIAA Bank Jaguars Weekend. TIAA Bank, created to serve, built to perform. And Geico, 15 minutes could save you 15% or more on car insurance. Visit geico.com to see how much you could save.
At this point, the cultures have really been created. That's the biggest challenge, is stepping back in there and just playing football when it's been a while. But I look forward to the challenge because of the guys I get to step in the huddle with and be with on the sidelines.
Nick Foles has command of the offense during a crucial time of the season. The question now is, how will he play after missing 8 games with a broken collarbone? All eyes are on the quarterback and how he'll perform Sunday in Indianapolis. Hello and welcome to TIAA Bank Jaguars Weekend. I'm Ashlyn Sullivan. Former Super Bowl MVP Nick Foles brought the team together before the bye week and told them the time to focus is now. There is no room for error. The Jaguars need to beat the Colts Sunday to keep their playoff hopes alive.
Shotgun for Foles. Foles steps. Deep one. End zone. Caught. Touchdown.
To be back in a situation where we have an opportunity to make a run, that's all we can ever ask. I'm grateful to be healthy and be back with those guys.
Nick Foles is thrilled to be back with his teammates and even happier that the Jaguars still have everything to play for. According to his teammates, the quarterback is fired up for the challenge.
I could tell that he's excited. We came out in a walkthrough and he threw about a 55-yard bomb in a walkthrough. So you knew he was amped a little bit. He couldn't quite get to it, whoever was running for it, but he's excited and ready to go.
There may be no better time for the former Super Bowl MVP to be back in the huddle. Foles is 9-2 the last 2 seasons during the months of November and December. Foles is ready to lead the Jaguars back to the playoffs.
He's taking back control of the offense and things like that. Very, smart, in control at all times, you feel like. So it's more stability just from an experience standpoint.
Foles earned his teammates' confidence by building relationships while he rehabbed his injury, turning a negative into a positive. The leader of the offense is working on making the locker room closer than ever.
I'm a firm believer in the fourth quarter, players make plays. If you trust the guy next to you, you're probably going to execute better than if you don't. So that's what we're building here.
Nick Foles, now the starter. All eyes will be on him in Indianapolis as the Jaguars take on the Colts this weekend as we welcome in Brian Sexton, John Oehser, and Subway. Thanks for lunch. So we call must-wins weekly now, it seems like. Must-wins every single week so far this season, but this week is different because if you want to keep talking about the playoffs, you have to win this week.
Well, when you've been average, and they've been average because you're 4-5, then all of a sudden November and early December become must-wins because if you lose, you're out, and if you win, you keep going. I think it's a must-win. I also think that with Foles coming back, it's a weird must-win because it has a week 1 feel. Feels like you're 0-0. Feels like you should have all the optimism of training camp and preseason and excitement. But if you don't win on Sunday, all that goes away. I don't think they have a chance if they don't win.
John DeFilippo tried to downplay Foles coming back to the lineup. Not in a sense that he isn't a good player, but hey, it's going to take some time. He's human too. Although the expectations for him are really, really high because this is a playoff game. And if they win this week, the next week becomes a playoff game. They have 5 games left against the AFC, and then they got to win all 5. And that puts a great deal of pressure. The good thing for the Jaguars is that DeFilippo believes that Foles is the perfect guy to handle it.
Mm-hmm. Another good thing is that there is a clean injury report this week. Everyone is practicing this week. That's the goal of the bye week, is coming out healthy. But that's an advantage for the Jags on Sunday.
Well, it's advantage Jaguars, especially because Jacoby Brissett, the Colts quarterback, expected to play. He's full, but he missed last week with a knee. So I don't see how he could possibly be as mobile as he should be. Jaguars must be able to put pressure on him and, more importantly, get him down.
Well, and the guy who's on the report and will be right up to game time is T.Y. Hilton, who's an electrifying receiver. They're 0-7 in his career when he doesn't play. If he doesn't play, it's a big advantage for the Jaguars.
Yep, definitely want to take advantage of it, that's for sure. Much more to come here on Jaguars Weekend. Coming up, the Jaguars pay a visit to say thank you to America's heroes for all they do. Plus, it's not going to be easy for Nick Foles and the Jaguars against the Colts. Up next, head coach Doug Marrone talks with our Jeff Lageman about who to watch on Indy's defense in the Cadillac film room. All that and much more ahead on TIAA Bank Jaguars Weekend.
We believe that we can win games and that we can be a dangerous team. But really right now, it just comes down to this week. This week is the most important week.
The Jaguars realistically need 5 more wins to force themselves into the playoffs. The time to win is now. Welcome back to TIAA Bank Jaguars Weekend. I'm Ashlyn Sullivan. The Jaguars offense ranks 30th in the NFL in red zone offense. The hope now is Nick Foles will improve the offense in the most important part of the field. They face a tough test against the Colts on Sunday. Let's visit the Cadillac film room with head coach Doug Marrone and our very own Jeff Lageman to break down the Colts defense.
Doug, your quarterback this week, Nick Foles, returns the lineup, and what a great challenge, a young, hungry, aggressive Colts defense.
Yeah, and it's great for Nick. Obviously he's hungry coming back, and, it's going to be a great challenge. They do a lot of things that, you got to be sharp with post-snap, pre-snap, so it's going to be a great challenge for us.
Well, Darius Leonard, this young linebacker who was a rookie of the year, defensive player of the year last year, was tremendous this past week against the Miami Dolphins in the loss.
He really was. I mean, he's a guy that we've talked to our players about that, if we don't have someone on him, he can make every tackle, and you can see he makes a lot of plays.
Defensively, Margus Hunt was a Cincinnati Bengal for a long time, and then he kind of found a real good niche with the Colts as a defensive tackle. Big, long, strong, and he's a good football player as you see him penetrating into the backfield.
Yeah, I think, obviously here you see a pressure from him, and a lot of cover too, a lot of line stunts, a lot of movement. He's a big guy. He can get some great leverage, and, here he is beating the guard inside and making a play, obviously a tackle for a loss.
All right, so how in the world do the Colts get a guy like Justin Houston in free agency? How does he even get the free agency is my question. He's the right end here working against the left tackle of the Dolphins. A little wax-off move, might be one of the fastest sacks in the league this year.
Well, I'll tell you, the one thing about him is that, when you look at him on film, you're like, well, you don't really see a lot of speed. You don't really, but all of a sudden you see a real smooth athlete that appears a lot faster in person than maybe he's on film. So we know he's a veteran guy and he does a lot of great things, and, he's someone that obviously can attack the passer and plays well in the run game.
He's got a sack in 5 consecutive games. He's going to be a challenge, and then we'll go back to this young player, Darius Leonard, against the Miami Dolphins. He can do everything. I mean, he's a stat machine, and here a little pressure by Margus Hunt, who we talked about earlier, and an errant throw, and all of a sudden Darius Leonard is looking at an interception.
Like I said, he just has a nose for the football. I think anywhere where, that ball is, he's going to be around. He's Defensive Player of the Year, and, potentially, obviously, a Pro Bowl, an All-Pro type player, because he can play both the run, the pass, he can rush, he can cover, so he can do a lot of great things. And again, it's going to be a great challenge for us on offense.
I can't believe that they blew that play dead. Tight end holding him up, and then they blow it dead. Do I get you on the officials here?
Yeah, nope.
All right, thanks, Doug.
Great, thank you, Jeff.
We continue to count down the Jaguars' All-25 list. Next up is a guy who is in the conversation as one of the best defenders in Jaguars history. You could always count on him to make a clutch play during a crucial moment. Number 8 on the Jaguars' All-25, cornerback Roisin Mathis.
The Jaguars All-25, presented by Sharpie.
Number 8, Roisin Mathis.
The best defensive player in Jaguars history. He made game-changing plays in the playoffs.
Jaguars rushing 4. He's got time, and it's intercepted. Mathis has got it. He's going back the other way at the 40-yard line, looking for a block. He's got it. Roisin down the sideline. 20, 15, 10, 5. Touchdown! Touchdown, Roisin Mathis.
That is what defined cornerback Roisin Mathis's career. He made big plays on the biggest stages.
Pressure coming, Roethlisberger hit as he throws, and this was intercepted! It's intercepted by Mathis. He's going back the other way at the 40. Gets a block, 45, 50. He's to the sideline. He's going. He's at the 30, the 20. He makes a move at the 10. 5. Touchdown, Mathis!
He made so many big plays, and he made them against rivals. I mean, he made big plays against the Steelers so many times, against the Titans. When you do that, you make plays against the rival, fans will remember that.
He was a big play corner. Big play corners make a lot of big plays. Big play corners give up some big plays. But that's okay.
If you add up the number of plays he made in terms of game-winning interceptions, things that clinched games, which is what cornerbacks are supposed to do in the league these days, may have been the best cornerback this team's ever had.
When I think of Roisin Mathis, I think of big plays. Walk-off, pick six in the overtime game in Pittsburgh in 2005. Hey, the other team went on and won a Super Bowl.
In overtime, pressure coming, Maddox turns and throws. It's intercepted! Roisin Mathis has got it. He's going to the 20, the 15, 10, 5. Touchdown! Jaguars! They beat the Steelers!
What a play by Roisin Mathis.
Mathis holds the team career interceptions and takeaway records.
He finds a bit of room, 25-30, and Roisin Mathis got the ball! It was fumbled by Scobie, and the Jaguars have recovered a fumble. Steps up into the pocket, turns and throws, and he has got it intercepted! Roisin Mathis! Pressure coming up the middle, turns and fires the pass, and it is intercepted! Mathis has got it! He's going to take it the other way!
Roisin Mathis was a guy who, when the ball was in the air, the ball was his. He treated it as if he was the receiver.
When you have the kind of closing speed and great hands, I don't think there's ever been a Jaguars defensive back with better hands than Roisin.
Number 27 could have been a success at any sport he played.
He could have played professional basketball, could have played professional baseball. He was that good of an athlete. Watch him throw the football. He's a southpaw. He throws the football as good as some quarterbacks.
He's one of the two best athletes I ever covered. The other one is Rod Woodson. It's no coincidence they're both cornerbacks. You know, that position demands the athletic ability to backpedal and turn your hips and run. You have to be a sensational athlete.
Mathis developed that athletic ability growing up right here in Jacksonville.
Ultimate hometown story, to have played high school football here, to have played college football at Bethune-Cookman just down the road, and then to come here and play most of his career in Jacksonville and make so many big plays. It's a great story to have that kind of local tie.
To grow up almost in the shadow of the stadium and become a star, maybe the second, third best defensive player in that team's history, it's a remarkable story that most teams don't have.
Could I see Roisin Mathis' name in the pride on the stadium? Absolutely. I think he deserves to be there. He's, not only being the local guy, but being the face of that defense for a number of years. Being the face of the team for a number of years. He really was. The guy was an unbelievable pro and an unbelievable NFL player.
Roisin Mathis has got it!
The hometown legend, Roisin Mathis, is the 8th best Jaguar of all time.
Football season is a busy time for players in the NFL. You don't always get to enjoy the holidays with your family and friends. That means sometimes you need to get creative how you celebrate. Coming up, we visit the pumpkin patch with offensive lineman A.J. Cann. Next on TIAA Bank Jaguars Weekend.
God bless the people that have served and the people that are serving. And I told the players, time to take a little break and think about, those people that have sacrificed everything for us, really, for our freedoms.
Football is important, but nothing is more crucial than our freedom. Doug Marrone and the Jaguars give credit to all those who defend our country and make the ultimate sacrifice. We're back on TIAA Bank Jaguars Weekend. It's difficult to suit up on Sundays and compete in the NFL. That's nowhere near as important as putting on a uniform to defend our country. The Jaguars paid a visit to the Florida Air National Guard to say thank you to America's true heroes in this Baptist Health feature.
The Jaguars' Salute to Service campaign kicked off with a visit to the 125th Fighter Wing of the Florida Air National Guard. Tucked away in the woods just off the runways at Jacksonville International Airport, the Florida Air National Guard serves the nation, the state of Florida, and international partners in a variety of ways. Safety Ronnie Harrison led the Jaguars contingent as they sat through a mission briefing, spent time in the pilot's version of the locker room and equipment room, and had a chance to take in the raw power of the winged fighter jets in the air and on the ground.
You know, I didn't really realize like how much they really do, you know, for the community. You know, natural disasters, hurricanes. It's not all about flying planes and, you know, shooting guns and stuff like that. So I just wanted to be a part of them. You know, they have a locker room. They have medical staff just like us. You know, I just wanted to see what it's like to be in their shoes for the day.
Both players and members of the Guard marveled at how similar a football team and a fighter wing work on a daily basis. It takes a huge support team for both to accomplish their mission.
It's great to have these guys out here, get to meet all the airmen that are behind the scenes, because I'm sure, just like at the Jags, we've got airmen that are taking care of equipment, getting airplanes ready, the countless man hours that go into getting one airplane ready to go fly for a day. You can't total it all up.
The Jaguars clearly enjoyed their chance to spend time around the impressive jets and the men and women who use them to serve and protect the American people. The pilots and their team seem to feel the same way about the football players they cheer for on Sundays.
We talk about Jacksonville being one of the most military-friendly cities in the United States. Just be positive right here with these guys coming out. They could be doing something else today. They choose to come out here, hang out with our airmen and see what they do and give us the opportunity to talk to them.
For Jaguars Weekend, I'm Brian Sexton.
The Jags will honor the military throughout the season for the NFL's Salute to Service initiative. There is very little room for free time for the players during football season. The schedule is grueling in the NFL. Special moments and holidays with kids and loved ones are often missed. Offensive lineman A.J. Cann made sure he was able to celebrate Halloween with his daughter before the team traveled to London.
We went to a different pumpkin patch probably like 3 weeks ago. When I found out about this one, I was like, you know, I leave for London Thursday, so it's best to get it in now because I won't be here for Halloween. It's gonna be difficult at first. I think once she realizes, you know, what I was doing as a career, she'll probably realize when she gets a little older.
I want the weirdest looking pumpkin.
Can you want a weird pumpkin?
You want a weird
She's looking
pumpkin?
at it. Look at that.
You just want the biggest one.
Is it a good one? I think this is the one.
Up next, we look ahead at a crucial game against the Colts.
Jaguars Weekend is presented in part by TIAA Bank, created to serve, built to perform, and Geico. 15 minutes could save you 15% or more on car insurance. Visit geico.com to see how much you could save.
If you'd have told me in the beginning of the year that I'd get to play half a season and then be able to learn, I would have said I'll take that deal 100%, you know what I'm saying? So I got a lot of good experience, and I'm also going to be able to learn from one of the best dudes in the business.
Gardner Minshew grateful for his time being an NFL starter this season, but now it is all Nick Foles as we welcome in Brian, John, and Subway. It's a lot of pressure. It's a lot of ask of the guy, but it is all on Nick Foles' shoulder this Sunday.
Well, I think the good news in that respect is, yes, it's pressure. Yes, it's all on Nick, but it's exactly what he's done in the last couple of years. In this sense, not only has he, in the last 2 years with the Eagles, brought them back late in the season, played under pressure, he's done it without having played before. So he's not new to coming into a situation cold and all of a sudden playing well. It's what he has to do. It's what they paid him to do.
He's played in 11 games, including the Super Bowl, in November, December, and January the last 2 years. His record is 9-2. This is not too big for him. In fact, he is perfectly made to go in there, as John just mentioned, and to create something, to make something happen. I'm excited to see him play. The last throw we saw was that beautiful rainbow pass into the arms of DJ Chark in the back of the end zone. Give us more of that.
Now, it can't only be Nick Foles. Obviously, this is a team sport. Who else are we looking at on Sunday to perform well?
I'm going to stick with Myles Jack. I've been talking about Myles Jack for the last couple of weeks. I think he played better before the bye than most people gave him credit for. With healthy linebackers around him, I think the run defense moving forward is absolutely key to this team. Myles Jack is key to that.
I'll go with Leonard Fournette. He's had a tremendous season so far. Third in the AFC with 831 rushing yards. Third in the NFL with 1,126 all-purpose yards. I think Foles buys him some room up front and gives him places to run.
All right, a big opportunity for the Jaguars, a tough test in Indianapolis. We'll be back next week right here on Jaguars Weekend.